Hi, my name is Haley Foster, and welcome to my slideshow on the suffragette movement. For all who don't know, a suffragette is a woman seeking their right to vote through organized protest. So this all began when the United States adopted the Constitution which we have today. When this Constitution was written, only white men had the right to vote under that law. Women also were excluded from many other rights which women fought to get over time. Now, the 15th Amendment was about the restriction on voters on the basis of race, color, and gender. That is why women could not vote, any people of color could not vote, anything like that. So it was a really restrictive amendment, and it only allowed white men to vote. And this was seen as an issue to some people back then, but not to all. Today, this is viewed as unconstitutional, but unfortunately back then, that was not the case. There are a few organizations, such as the American Equal Rights Association, which is started in 1886, which started to get suffrage for women, and eventually to get it for everyone. And a very prominent one is the National Women's Suffrage Association, or the NWSA, and it was formed by two very prominent women, and they would become historical figures because of their actions and because of the stances they took to get women's suffrage. So there's a very important event which happens in 1848 regarding the women's suffrage movement. This is that the women's suffrage parade in New York City, it became an organized movement there. And this is in 1848 at a convention in New York. So this is the first time that the public is really viewing women's suffrage as a movement that people are coming together and standing behind and wanting to get done. Next, at the Seneca Falls Convention of 1848, there's also the Declaration of Sentiments, and through this image you can see that there are names on here which we have said before, like Susan B. Anthony, and even men too who were also supporting the women's suffrage movement, because it was not just a one-sided issue. So this suffrage movement took a long time. It took 80 years before the law was changed, which is a very long time in politics because politicians tend to try to move quickly because of public opinion. So it is a long time for people to be supporting behind an idea, a movement, and you can really see how important it was because after 80 years, no one had given up. And it was not just women behind this idea either. Men were working alongside them as well to get these changes, which most people deemed necessary. And finally, to name a few women who are important in the suffrage movement and their historical figures, they're listed on the screen in front of you. Anna Shaw, Elizabeth Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, Lucretia Mott. These are all women who campaigned. They held positions in the NAWSA, in all these different organizations, and some of them were even around to see the act go through in 1912. So to take away from this is that the women's suffrage movement did not have an easy start to it. It took a while before it gained traction and before people really acted on their beliefs and got the law to change. But they did not do this alone. They did it with men standing beside them as well. And these women persevered and made it known that they would get their rights. Thank you.